Okay, we are coming to you from New Orleans, Louisiana, for the
Woohoo.
Society of American Military Engineers Small Business Conference. And this is our third episode of Prairie Views. And I have on with me today Darren Forgy and Jason Sweet. Um, and we're going to just jump right in since we try to limit these to 15 minutes. Would both of you, Darren going first, just briefly introduce yourselves and let us know what role you take in the company?
Yeah. Darren Forgy. I'm a civil engineer and a land surveyor, and I'm a vice president here at Prairie Engineers. My focus is as the client lead for Department of Defense clients and the VA.
I'm Jason Sweet, in Kansas City area. Background in wildlife biology and geography. Been in Prairie for just over a year. Serve as the federal market leader for the company.
Fantastic. So, you guys, you can take turns and you can answer these however you want to. But if either one of you could time travel and time travel to any time in the past, what's some kind of famous engineering or surveying project in history that you would have liked to have worked on, and why? Why that project?
So I want to ask first, does it have to be engineering or surveying? Because I'm neither an engineer or a surveyor.
Absolutely
I
not.
would
Do
the
what you want.
I would have chose the just the westward exploration of North America. I think if it could be part of I don't know, Lewis and Clark, or something like that, documenting the flora and fauna, making notes on how things are working out there, and being one of the first, at least um, Western civilization to see those things. I think that would have been very
Diff-
interesting.
Different type of surveyor.
It is kind of surveying. You're right.
Yeah,
It
it
is
is.
kind of surveying.
Yeah,
There's definitely
absolutely.
surveying in those. You're right. I wouldn't have been holding survey chains, but
It's a good one. I guess
Takes the whole team.
my first thought went to the Panama Canal, but I think what I'll say is the reversing of the Chicago River, Chicago Sanitary and Ship Canal. I think that was a pretty cool project. It's local to us, and it's impacted millions of lives for the better. Kind of demonstrates the wonders of civil engineering.
Yeah, for sure. Many wonders, and well, that's one example for sure. So if Darren, if you were not a land surveyor or engineer, if Jason, you weren't a scientist, what other career would you have chosen and why?
That one's pretty easy for me. Thought long and hard about it. I think I would have wanted to be a history or a social studies or political science teacher. Um, really into that we'll call it genre. I don't know what the right word is there, but I'm a big history buff, and I enjoy conveying that information much to the I think my children are appalled sometimes at how much I inflict that upon them, but I think I would have been a good one. Although I think my students probably would have hated me, but they would have got something out of it. So, say a history
Yeah,
teacher.
that's a good one.
I like it.
I think I am incredibly blessed that this is one of my loves, the ecology of the natural world. So my mind immediately goes to what are those other loves of my life, and basketball coach maybe. History is another one too, but basketball coach is the first thing that comes to mind. And that's as far as the why, what always drew me to basketball was the teamwork element, and it is a full-on team effort.
So Jason, if you were to be a basketball coach, would you coach collegiate, high school, professional? What would be your preference?
Yeah, the closer to adult, the better. I tried coaching the daughter's kindergarten team, and it was fun, but yeah, you're not really coaching.
Oh,
Hurting.
you're
Hurting.
hurting cats.
Yeah, that's not coaching.
Yeah. Um, so what are some of the more unique aspects of doing projects for federal agencies as compared to, say, other markets? What are some of the unique things about the federal market?
I'll jump in. First thought, it's easier to answer that question if you're talking about a specific agency because there's a lot of variability from one agency to another, and there's plenty of them that we don't know, plenty of them that we do, a lot of them that we do know really well, and so I think that's one thing there is kind of depends on the agency. Another that's unique about federal is the need for teaming. So it gets back to what I was just talking about with basketball. It is you're rarely pursuing these things on your own, and teaming becomes a big thing. So the relationships definitely important here.
Yeah,
I think a lot of that's required because they're generally larger projects too, and that's an interesting thing. And I'm sure as you know, at Prairie, we put a lot of emphasis on glory projects. We're looking for projects that challenge us as individuals and are interesting to a wide range of people in and outside the technical world. So I think that federal market offers a higher percentage of those glory projects than some of the other markets. It's also a higher threshold entry, but to counter that, they print the money, so usually you get paid too. So that's a good thing.
a good point. Something I've learned, and every market, every industry has its acronyms, but I have never run into so many acronyms as looking in the federal market space. There's alphabet soup around here.
Secret joy of mine is sending an email that's like 4 acronyms for the subject line and nothing else. And and some people will just know exactly what that means.
You can fit it on the line. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So speaking about like teaming, and that's such a huge part of what we do in the federal market, what a lot of consultants do in the federal market. What's something valuable that you've learned in your career just through the collaboration that goes on with other teams on projects?
I think there's a big difference between the firms we work with and how they treat each other and other sub-consultants and stuff. And, Prairie is a small business, and we're a woman-owned business, and we've had the good fortune to work with a wide cross-section of firms. Still a small fragment of the overall federal market. It's a very large market, but we've worked with a lot of firms, in small roles and larger roles, and we get to see the flavor of each of those firms, if you will. So I think as we've grown in capabilities, the valuable thing we've learned is to be choosy, to tiptoe in and find someone that fits with your culture and work with them. And everything just goes smoother when you guys, when you're in alignment with your teaming partners, whether you're prime, they're prime, or you're both subs, or however it's working. Everything goes smoother when you have good teaming partners.
Yeah, and I just add that you can distill it even further to the individuals in those firms. You different personalities, and you find the people that you can work with, and you've proven it, and you hang on to those relationships. Build new ones all the time, but value those ones that are strong.
Which always goes back to anything in any market. It's we're always going to be in a people business. Regardless, it's always going to be a people business. And so, to your point, Jason, finding those people that you can align with, you guys value similar things, you know how to get projects done, you value each other and what each team member is bringing to that project, super critical. So what's the most MacGyver thing you've ever had to do on a project? And for the younger audience, look up, just Google MacGyver so you understand what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Growing up as a surveyor in the professional world, there's lots of opportunities for that. I've never hung from the hook of a crane to get a survey done, so I can't claim that. But I had one. We manufactured a 20-foot metal arm on the front of one of our survey boats to mount a LiDAR sensor up on the front of it. We were surveying a river, and we had to get the overbank areas of the river, and it had 20-foot banks along both sides of the river, and the landowners wouldn't give us permission to get on it. So to get the job done for the client, we just made a tall folding arm. We had to go under several bridges too, so it couldn't be fixed, but it was a folding arm. So we'd fold it up on the front, collect LiDAR as we went along through that section, and then fold it down to go under bridges and put it back up and collect some more. So that was a pretty MacGyver-y one.
Yeah.
I probably should have gone first because mine doesn't come anywhere close to that. We had a project with the Corps of Engineers. They had a new database to manage dam elements of a dam, gates and all that kind of thing. And for the people that were filling in that database, there was no guidance or anything. So it was, we were starting from scratch with this brand new database and having to come up with what would be most useful to users to quickly know what it is they're supposed to be looking for, what it is, how it gets categorized. And so it was everything from the ground up. Not nearly as cool as Darren's folding arm project, but yeah.
Yeah. So this is my first year at the Small Business Conference, so I'm just soaking it in and learning. You guys are kind of old pros at it. And this year we're in New Orleans, so I have to ask you, what's your favorite thing about being in New Orleans?
Food.
Food.
Easily,
no doubt.
Yeah. Also love the atmosphere and the history and the music and all those things. But yeah, definitely awesome food. If you get outside the conference hall.
Yeah, the food tops the list. The cemetery tours are cool. I haven't done the World War II museum. That's killing me. I need to do that. Came here a couple years ago, or might have been last year, with my daughters, and we did a kayaking through the Manchac Swamp, which was incredible. It's a cool town. Lots to do.
Yeah, I'm learning that. It's also it's my first time in New Orleans, not just FBC, but I'd never been to New Orleans either. So, I've been here now for about 24 hours, and I've been impressed with all the live music that's on the streets in the evening and all the fun bars and restaurants, and just it's a very lively city, and it's enjoyable so far. I've liked it.
Cocktail scene too. You go for that sort of thing.
Yeah.
I said.
Yeah. So would you guys have a book that you would recommend anyone in the AEC industry should read? Something that really was helpful to you?
The one that I think about often is now it just escaped me. Patrick Lencioni. It's just escaped me. The one I finished on the plane down here was what was that?
It'll come back to you.
I thought you might have said
right
it. Yeah. It's popular.
And whenever we're done, it'll come back to you.
As soon as we're done, it will come back. Yes. The one that I finished on the way down here was "Think Again" by Adam. I can't think of the last name of his either, but it was a learning to unthink things, not settling into old habits kind of thing, and it's a lot more than that. I'm trying to sum it up in a sentence or two, but yeah. The Advantage. That's what the other one was. The Advantage.
Good. You barely snuck it in before we were done, Jason.
I was, I've been sitting here thinking about all the books I could say have inspired me or whatever, but I think I'm coming around to Gong Gong and the P&L Railroad. It's a children's book, but it was written by a colleague of mine, my past life. She wrote it for her grandchildren. One of the smartest engineers I ever worked with. And she wrote to just explain to her grandchildren what engineers really do, kind of explain it in a children's book. And it was really a cool thing. So it's hard to find, but I think it demonstrated, who we are and what we do as professionals, and be a good book to read if you find it.
Yeah, I'd love to find that one for sure. Maybe we need to resurrect it and give it a new life, right?
Yeah.
So who's going to win the Super Bowl, gentlemen?
Darren, you're the huge NFL fan.
Yeah, I don't care. I don't even pay attention. My son's going to be disappointed in me, but I got a bunch of glory projects to work on, so I'll go do that instead.
good alternative. I'm definitely a Chiefs fan.
Yeah. You and me both, Jason. Let's see if they can three-peat and do something that no other NFL football team's ever done, right?
It's on the table.
Yep, certainly is. Well, guys, it's been great to interview you. The 15 minutes always goes so fast, but really appreciate your insights. And this is Prairie Views, where all the engineers are strong, all the surveyors are good looking, and all the scientists are above average. So until next time, we'll catch you later.
Thank you.
Thanks.